Everyone knows Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, but almost no one knows how close his story was to never beginning. Drafted 199th, ignored, doubted, and overlooked, he wasn't supposed to make it. So how did the most underestimated player become the most unstoppable legend in NFL history? Long before Tom Brady became a household name, he was simply a young kid growing up in California with a dream. Born in San Mateo, Brady grew up in a sports-loving family. From an early age, he admired athletes who achieved greatness through hard work and determination. Among his heroes was Joe Montana, the legendary quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. Little did anyone know that years later, Brady would be compared to the very player he once idolized. But Brady's path to greatness wasn't easy. Unlike many future NFL stars, he wasn't viewed as a once-in-a-generation athlete. He wasn't the fastest player, he wasn't the strongest, and he certainly wasn't the most physically gifted quarterback in America. During high school, Brady showed flashes of potential, but major colleges weren't lining up to recruit him. Eventually, he committed to the University of Michigan. Yet even there, the challenges continued. At Michigan, Brady spent years fighting for playing time. Coaches often favored other quarterbacks with stronger arms or greater athletic ability. There were moments when Brady wondered if he'd ever get a real opportunity. But one thing separated him from everyone else: his mindset. While others focused on talent, Brady focused on preparation. He studied harder, worked longer, and refused to give up. Eventually, his patience paid off. Brady earned the starting role and led Michigan to important victories. His leadership and composure under pressure began attracting attention. But despite his college success, NFL scouts remained unconvinced. When the 2000 NFL Draft arrived, Brady waited and waited. Round after round passed. Team after team chose someone else. Finally, with the 199th pick, the New England Patriots selected Tom Brady. Few people noticed, even fewer cared. No one could have imagined what was about to happen. Because sometimes, greatness arrives when nobody is watching.
The NFL is a league built on opportunity, and sometimes one moment can change a career forever. When Tom Brady arrived in New England, he was buried deep on the depth chart. The Patriots already had a starting quarterback, Drew Bledsoe. At the time, Bledsoe was one of the highest-paid players in football. He was the face of the franchise. Brady? He was simply the backup, a sixth-round pick with little expectation. Most players in Brady's position would have accepted their role, but Brady never did. Inside the locker room, he quietly told teammates that he believed he would become the starter one day. Many probably thought he was dreaming. Then came the moment that changed NFL history. During the 2001 season, Drew Bledsoe suffered an injury. Suddenly, the opportunity Brady had waited for finally arrived, and he never looked back. Brady stepped onto the field with confidence beyond his years. He didn't rely on flashy throws. He didn't overwhelm defenses with athleticism. Instead, he made smart decisions, stayed calm under pressure, and found ways to win. The Patriots began winning games, then more games, and before anyone realized it, they were heading to the Super Bowl. Facing the powerful St. Louis Rams, few expected New England to win, but under pressure, Brady delivered. He led a game-winning drive, and at just 24 years old, Tom Brady became a Super Bowl champion. The football world had witnessed the beginning of something special. Although no one knew it yet, a dynasty had been born.
Winning one championship is difficult. Winning multiple? That's legendary. Over the next 2 decades, Tom Brady and head coach Bill Belichick transformed New England into the NFL's most dominant dynasty. Season after season, they found ways to win. Different teammates, different opponents, same result: victory. Brady's preparation became legendary. Teammates described his work ethic as relentless. Film study, diet, recovery. Every detail mattered. His obsession with improvement never stopped. Soon, championships followed. 3 Super Bowls became 4. 4 became 6. records continued falling. Passing yards, touchdowns, playoff wins. Brady wasn't simply winning, he was rewriting NFL history. Yet greatness always comes with criticism. Some argued that Belichick deserved most of the credit. Others believed Brady was merely a product of the system. The debate grew louder over time. Could Brady succeed without New England? The answer would eventually shock the world. Because even after 20 years of success, Tom Brady still had something to prove, and his next chapter would become one of the greatest stories in sports history. In 2020, the impossible happened. Tom Brady left New England. After 2 decades, the partnership that defined an era came to an end. For 20 years, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick had built the greatest dynasty in NFL history. 6 Super Bowl championships, countless playoff victories, and a legacy that seemed untouchable. To many fans, the Patriots and Brady were inseparable. It felt impossible to imagine one without the other. But dynasties don't last forever. And eventually, every great story reaches a crossroads. As Brady entered his 40s, questions began to grow louder. Was age finally catching up to him? Had his best years already passed? Could he still compete at the highest level? Or had the NFL moved on? Critics were everywhere. Some believed Brady was no longer the same player. Others argued that his success had always been the result of Bill Belichick's system. The debate had followed Brady for years. Was he the reason for the dynasty, or simply a product of it? In 2020, the football world was about to find out, because for the first time in his legendary career, Tom Brady became a free agent. And then he made a decision that shocked the sports world. He signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a franchise that had struggled for years, a team that hadn't won a playoff game in over a decade. To many analysts, it seemed like an enormous risk. At 43 years old, most quarterbacks were long retired. But Brady wasn't interested in retirement. He wanted one final challenge, one final opportunity to prove himself, and perhaps one final chance to silence the doubters forever. From the moment he arrived in Tampa Bay, everything began to change. Brady brought more than talent. He brought leadership, discipline, experience, and most importantly, belief. Suddenly, players carried themselves differently. Expectations changed. A culture of winning began to take shape. The Buccaneers weren't just hoping to compete anymore. They believed they could become champions. As the season progressed, that belief grew stronger. There were challenges, difficult losses, questions from critics. But Brady had faced adversity before, and once again, he responded the only way he knew how, by winning. One playoff victory after another, until eventually the impossible became reality. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were heading to the Super Bowl. Standing in their way was a familiar challenge, the Kansas City Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes, the NFL's brightest young superstar. Many saw the matchup as symbolic, the future of football against its greatest legend. Mahomes represented the next generation. Brady represented greatness itself. On paper, the Chiefs were favorites. Their offense was explosive, their talent unmatched. But championships aren't won on paper. They're won under pressure. And nobody understood pressure better than Tom Brady. On football's biggest stage, Brady delivered once again. The Buccaneers dominated, the Chiefs were stunned, and as the final seconds ticked away, history was made. Tom Brady had done it again. His 7th Super Bowl championship at 43 years old, an achievement many believed was impossible. In that moment, the debate changed forever. Was Brady merely part of a system, or was he the system itself? For years, people questioned whether he could succeed without New England. Now they had their answer, loud and clear. Because greatness isn't tied to a team, it's tied to a mindset.
And Tom Brady had just proven something the world may never see again. Legends can win championships, but only the greatest of all time can build a dynasty twice.
Legacies are built over time, but some legacies transcend the game itself. Tom Brady's story is about more than football. It's about perseverance, discipline, and believing in yourself when nobody else does. From pick number 199 to 7-time Super Bowl champion, his journey remains one of the greatest underdog stories in sports history. Future generations may break records, they may win championships, but matching Brady's longevity, his consistency, and his relentless pursuit of greatness may prove impossible. Because greatness isn't defined by talent alone. It's defined by sacrifice, by resilience, by showing up every day when others quit. For more than 2 decades, Tom Brady played a game where careers often end in a matter of years. The NFL is unforgiving. It doesn't care about past success. It doesn't care about reputation. Every season, every game, every snap, you have to prove yourself all over again. And somehow, year after year, Tom Brady kept doing exactly that. When people said he was too slow, he won. When they said he was a system quarterback, he won. When they said his dynasty was over, he won again. And perhaps that's what made Brady different. Not his arm strength, not his speed, but his mindset. An obsession with improvement, a refusal to accept limits, a belief that no challenge was too great. Because while other players relied on talent, Brady relied on preparation. He studied longer, worked harder, recovered smarter, and demanded excellence from himself every single day. Even after winning championships, he never stopped chasing greatness. Most athletes dream of reaching the top. Tom Brady reached the top and somehow found a way to stay there for 20 years. Think about that. Generations of players entered the league and left it. Coaches changed, rules changed, dynasties rose and fell. But through it all, Tom Brady remained, competing, winning, making history. His story reminds us that greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's built in silence, in early mornings, late nights, countless sacrifices that no one ever sees. Because the truth is, the world rarely notices the work behind greatness. It only sees the trophies, the celebrations, the victories. But behind every championship, there were years of sacrifice, years of pressure, years of carrying expectations that few people could truly understand. Tom Brady wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the most gifted athlete, but he became the greatest. And perhaps that's the most inspiring part of his story, because his journey reminds us of one thing. Sometimes, the people the world doubts the most end up changing history forever. Tom Brady's playing career may be over, but his legacy, that may live forever. Because long after the records are broken, and long after new stars rise, the story of pick number 199 will continue to inspire generations, not because he was perfect, but because he proved that greatness is earned, one day at a time, one challenge at a time, one victory at a time. And that is why Tom Brady will always be remembered as more than a champion. He will be remembered as a symbol of what is possible when talent meets discipline and belief refuses to surrender.